Mayor Zach, welcome back to Mayor's Monday here at WSAU and WSAU.com. Finally got the ideal weather to get outside, get a nice road trip in, and as we stand right here, folks can see it's flashing on the bank sign, 63 degrees and sunny right here in Wisconsin Rapids, which means it's that kind of the perfect start for the road construction season right behind you.
That's right. It's about that time. We've waited for this moment for the last how many weeks, if not months. Hopefully winter, we can say confidently, is behind us, at least for this part of the season or this part of the year. It was a tough winter for us, and we appreciate residents' patience and our snow removal operations throughout the city. We did chew through most of our snow removal budget for the entire calendar year. So come this fall and winter again, dare I even talk about it, I hope it's Mother Nature's fairly friendly to us.
Yes.
But as you mentioned, it's the season has started. The spring is spring. At least enough indications of spring are here. We're already into some road construction projects and other construction projects we'll talk about. But we're at the corner of East Grand Avenue and 2nd Street here in downtown Rapids, on the heart of the east side, really, of downtown. And so East Grand Avenue will be entirely reconstructed this year in the downtown area from the river, which we're standing right at the base of the East Grand Avenue, or East and Grand Avenue Bridge, all the way to 8th Street. And so that project is very significant because it's a major, it's the eastern portion of the major corridor that runs through our downtown, and that project is in part funded by the state. In fact, 80% comes from state and federal sources, and about 20% comes from local sources. So the reason or the need for the project is the pavement and the underground utilities are over 66 years old, and in the life cycle of a street and utilities, that's a long time. Fortunately, we were able to get by without really any major problems or breaks. Some minor stuff over the more recent years as the infrastructure has aged. But this is the kickoff of the East Grand Avenue reconstruction project downtown, right here at the corner of East Grand Avenue and 2nd Street.
And as we can kind of see behind you, we've got a good majority of the roads already torn up. So your team didn't really waste any time getting this project going here, because the base of the road's already torn up. And as you mentioned, I'm sure the underground utilities are not far behind.
Right, so the pavement and the street surfacing is all done by private contractors. The city will come in and do the underground utilities, but yeah, they literally just this week got started on the project, and they're already making some headway that's very visible to the public.
Yeah, absolutely. So this means obviously your mail traffic is going to be detoured from the rest of the city. How much, I guess the question is, what is kind of the detour route, and what should commuters through town be planning for?
Well, the good thing is most of these businesses have alternative access, and there's a lot of cross streets that we're working to keep open during construction or when we can, make it possible. But as far as events, this is definitely the corridor that most of our event traffic runs through the city. So particularly the Cranberry Blossom Fest parade runs down Grand Avenue, or normally does, and then we've got events here in Veterans Memorial Park with Lunch by the River that will also be disrupted this year. So the parade will actually be rerouted and relocated along 8th Street for a portion of 8th Street, and the parade route will be announced as that information comes forward. But definitely very disruptive, not only to the businesses, but also to the events that happen in our downtown area every summer.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the one thing that you hear, most often about when the businesses are talking about people can't access us. They go through, maybe some tough times. But then, of course, once the project is back open, access to those businesses it's actually improved as well, right?
That's right. I mean, it's pain for a period of time. So we're working with businesses to get signage, the Chamber of Commerce working with them to run promotions and specials to make sure that while the project is disruptive, that foot traffic and other business activities have to go on. And so we want to make sure we accommodate all the variety of things while also achieving the reconstruction objectives that we have with ensuring that this main corridor gets reconstructed in one season and not bring it over 2 calendar years, which we know would be very disruptive as well.
And speaking of that one season timeline, then, so what exactly is the timeline for this project as it stands?
Well, we expect that this project will be completed and reopened fully to traffic come fall and mid and late fall this year, provided Mother Nature cooperates and gives us enough working days throughout the summer. We'll have a project completion this fall.
And then as far as with the contractors go and things like that, you mentioned that this project is being funded and mostly by the state, and with the city kicking in a little bit as well.
Right.
I know one thing that municipalities like to do is they like to put those incentives into the contracts for the contractor. You know, if you get this completed by a certain date, there'll maybe be a little bit of a bonus. Is that something that
We didn't do that on this project because it is a state contract. Now, when we do local projects, we do contemplate that. So, for example, Veterans Memorial Park, which is slated for some enhancements and some improvements this summer, we do talk about those things because just on the other side of these buildings is the first phase of the Riverbank project that, unfortunately, because the landscapers weren't able to finish their work, they weren't able to get the project completed by the end of the calendar year or even the construction season last year. So we're very excited that most of these contractors are willing to work with us, but it depends between the state project and these local projects of whether or not we have the ability to put incentives in the contract itself.
You mentioned some things about the downtown businesses here, so that kind of leads us to our next topic. Because I'll take the camera here and we'll kind of pan it around. Sure. Because we've got some new businesses that have opened just in recent weeks here. You mentioned Bee's Tap House.
Yeah, Bee's Tap House just opened in the last number of weeks. They're a unique tap room serving local craft beers from around the state and around the region. And so they're very unique. They're only open Wednesday to Saturday, and they offer different special events where they're open as well. But it's primarily beer and wine and locally sourced craft beers in large part. And so we're very excited to welcome them to the downtown, and I know that been in there once or twice myself, and it's been a very popular place for residents to come and convene and enjoy a local crafted beer.
Absolutely. And then you mentioned a little just further down the street, you can't really see it here off the camera, but you have a kind of a unique candy and treat store that's been opened as well.
That's right. So a long vacant space, which used to be a hair and nail salon, now it was reoccupied again, and nice to see the vacancy gone and a new business started there. The Sweet Spot just opened downtown last week, so we're very excited. We want to welcome them to the downtown area. It's been interesting and encouraging to see a number of new businesses come to the downtown area as we've made reinvestments in the park spaces, and I think a large part, the landowners or the business owners or the property owners are willing to work with these prospective businesses to get started and to be successful in the downtown area.
Just with these two businesses, along with some others that you've had in recent months, it really kind of takes your downtown vacancy downtown occupancy, I should say, to near full. You really don't have much as far as vacancy goes.
Yeah, there's pockets of vacancy throughout downtown, and occupancy of small businesses in the downtown, more historic buildings can sometimes be a challenge, right, or cost prohibitive. So I know a lot of landlords and property owners are always working to try to bring occupancy to their buildings, but it takes the courage of a business owner to step out and strike out on their own, but also a willing landlord to work with these businesses. So we commend those that have made investments that are realizing the opportunity that they might be able to add some unique businesses to the downtown area and to change what we call the tenant mix. So it's not just professional offices where you could roll up the sidewalks at 5 o'clock every day and nobody's on them, to some other businesses that are going to be open in the evening and on weekends. So it's exciting to see some of that changing face. Now, we're just down the street from another property that the city acquired a couple of years ago, and we're working with some developers right now about bringing some upper floor housing. It's a 2-story building with some retail space on the first floor. So we've got some interest over some time, and we're continuing to work with interested parties to hopefully offload and sell that property and get it occupied again.
Mixed-use development, as they call it.
That's right.
That's the buzzword, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, creating demand right at in the upper levels of support. But really, housing is the key ingredient to having a thriving, more successful downtown.
And again, getting people reasons to come to downtown, whether that's the cinema that's right behind you right there, or the chance to go out and grab a beverage, or to get some treats and snacks with the kids. But of course, all that kind of goes hand in hand with what's right behind us, as you mentioned, in Veterans Park, and that's the riverfront, which you are going to begin phase 2 on right in this area just behind us here in the near future as well.
That's right. So we're very excited about our phase 2, our riverfront investment. The unique features of this project will be adding seating. Lunch by the River is one of our more popular events in the summertime on Thursdays. So adding some sculptural seating that actually is a product of Wausau Tile. So we'll have some neighboring products installed in the park to add seating elements, as well as a performance stage. Right now, if there's kind of wet lawn, there's not a place for a lot of the performance activity to occur. So we're putting in a small wood stage And then we're also going to have a balcony actually go over the river wall that could be reserved for special events, parties, weddings, and other gatherings. That really our riverfront spaces are second to none, we believe, along the Wisconsin River, given that it runs right through the center of our downtown. So we're continuing to make investments that is really generating more activity, not only just people down here, but as we just talked with some businesses that are opening in vacant spaces. It's all part of a bigger picture view of bringing vibrancy and energy back to the downtown core, really the heart of our city.
Especially, you mentioned the Cranberry Blossom Festival that you'll have coming up here this summer. That's something that brings people in. If they can see improvements to the city like that, it just kind of raises the profile of Wisconsin Rapids that much more.
Yes.
As we've discussed too with the Metalco guys when we've been there at meetings, they say we're excited about this riverfront area and the plans that you have for it, because it's not just going to remain stagnant.
That's right. And there's a lot more visitor activity in our region, right? With the introduction of Sand Valley's golf development, as well as other facilities that are working to attract more visitors to the area. These types of investments go a long way to not only getting those places, getting people to those properties, but getting them to our city and to our downtown area. So we're very excited and encouraged by the City Council's support for these things, and we look forward to getting what can be a messy construction season underway, and then hopefully a nice product at the conclusion. So we'll talk about these projects more as they get underway in the future.
Absolutely, and we look forward to more of these great road trips like this with the weather that you ordered up for us here today to get this recorded and ready to air, and it's just can't beat it being outside on a day like today.
That's right. You may want to pan to show a before picture of the Veterans Memorial Park area. The river's really moving with a lot of the spring melt that's occurring. Fortunately, we haven't had any flooding, but certainly appreciate your willingness to get out here and do a little road trip for our viewers.
Absolutely. We'll maybe go down there and join those guys that are fishing down there by the river as well after we're done here, and play a little more hooky out of the office today. Just to tell my boss, but you're the boss, so you don't have to worry about that, but I do.
Yeah, I got to head back to City Hall, but thanks, Michael. Appreciate it.
Again, we appreciate the time.